Good morning, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this morning and for giving me the opportunity to talk to you. And our slide talks about Team Rich, transform your team into a championship team. And unfortunately, there's a bit of a spelling error on the next line, but managing your mindset during the COVID-19 pandemic is what I'd like to talk to you about. And I know that you are all artisan, technical people, that you are very good with your hands and what you do. But I think sometimes we just find that business owners struggle with mindset. And today I want to spend some time on that, and I'd love you to give me some feedback at the end. But I'd really like to talk about your mindset during COVID-19. And I think we all struggle with that. I think we all at times don't know what the future is, what the future holds, and we're uncertain. And this morning's talk is a little bit about how do we drive that forward. So yeah, just quickly about me. Why have I standing in front of you and talking to you? Well, I've got some background in corporate. Spent quite a lot of time in the manufacturing logistics environment, and know all about the technical side and running a business. And yeah, so as coaches, we really are there to help business owners grow their business and obviously grow their confidence. And today is a little bit about the confidence, and the second point there, creating a massive growth in your lifestyle and your confidence in your business. I'd really like to impact your business, like to impact your thinking so that you can go about changing your business going forward. In the registration of this morning's session, we talked about a formula which is D times G times L times P times A. And it all starts with the dream, the D. And once we have a dream, we can put goals down. And the G is then the goal. And those are the goals you want to achieve in your business and in your life. Sometimes you've got to learn some more before you can go and chase those goals. So if you want to develop a plan, the P, you need to understand, how you get from the goal to the plan, and that's where the learning comes in. And that's what I'm sure you guys do every Monday morning when you watch these webinars. And the last point there, A, is about action. Right, so nothing changes, all the other things you can do, but unless you take action, nothing's going to change. And I want to just make sure that everybody understands that change only comes after action. So helping you to find time means you've got to look at your time in your diary. You've got to make sure you allocate it and that you spend the time on the urgent and important stuff in your life. Right, so we know that if you give somebody a fish, you feed for a day. Today is not about giving you a fish. It's about helping you think different. It's about teaching you to fish and making sure that some of these principles perhaps become part of your lifetime and help you grow as a person and help you grow as a business owner. The first point that I want to make is all about the point of power. All right, the point of power talks about a number of things, but what we know is that every day we have when we get up, a decision to make. We can either be positive or we can be negative. And I'm sure you would recognize the negative people. They blame other people. They blame the circumstances. It's never them. It's always somebody else. They just get that ability to make sure that, the blame is never pointed towards them. They're full of excuses. So things didn't happen as it should have because there was problems, and they just really don't take ownership. And then it's also about the denial side. So sometimes they're in denial. And we know that that's not the place you want to be. You rather want to be at a point of power where you have responsibility, accountability, and take ownership. And that's the sort of staff that you want in your business. The staff that are out there blaming other people, blaming somebody else, it's never them. Those are the guys that are really powerless. They make you powerless, and you'd rather be powerful. So think about this. If I get my staff to be responsible, take accountability, and to take ownership of the work, the quality of the work, how it gets done, and so on, what am I going to do? Well, I'm certainly going to have a better business. I'm going to enjoy life a lot more. But perhaps it's my own mindset. Perhaps it's me as the business owner that is not taking the responsibility. I'm not holding myself accountable. And I don't have the ownership of my business's results. Because at the end of the day, my business's results depends just on me as the business owner. So very interesting and very powerful point to understand is that you have a choice to make every morning. And remember the point of power, that you have that choice. It is your choice to make for your business and for your life, and make sure that you take it and you do it properly. One of the things we know is that we can all come to this training session and any other training session and then go back and live a life as we normally did. And what I would like to really stress this morning is there's no point in coming to this session and just continuing afterwards the same way you did in the past. If you really want to stretch yourself, you really want to make sure things change in your life, you need to get out of your comfort zone. And perhaps the pandemic got us out of our comfort zones in different ways, perhaps in a more negative way than a positive way, but let's take ownership. Let's make sure that where we go and where our business goes is where we want to be. Because it's time to expand our comfort zone, time to grow our skills. Because right now we don't know what we don't know. But to run a business, you need to learn a lot of stuff. You need to know about marketing. You need to know about strategy and sales. You need to know about cash flow and many, many other things that you need to worry about. So understand that perhaps it's time to not only be the best plumber or the best artisan, but perhaps it's time to make sure you run the best business, a business that can run without you eventually, or a business that you can sell if you so choose. So it's time to expand your thinking. And if you do expand your thinking, we know that you can change a lot of stuff. And that brings me to the formula for change. So if you think about the formula for change, as we've described it, it's all about the dissatisfaction that you have plus or times the vision of the future, which through a number of steps that you can take will overcome the resistance to change. So R, as the resistance to change, is something that we all have in our lives. We don't like change. Nobody likes change. And quite often change is forced upon us. Now think about the pandemic. How do we overcome our resistance to change around the pandemic? Well, perhaps a lot of us, we've had it forced on us. We just had to change because there was no luxury, there was no backup. The finances just had to, be there, and we had to drive that. So the dissatisfaction that we have as a result of the position that we are in right now, because of what happened to our country, what happened to the world, what happened to our community and our business, and closer to home, my own business. That is the stuff that gives me a high level of dissatisfaction. So if I have a high level of dissatisfaction and I have a clear vision of where I want to go, then perhaps the first steps, building a bridge to overcome that resistance to change, is easier. But I need to understand that if things are not uncomfortable, perhaps I'm not going to change. Perhaps that dissatisfaction level is just not high enough. Now, this formula you can also use in your sales process, because normally the customers that you go and see have some need. They are not happy with something, either a leaking pipe, a geyser that's not working, or whatever it is. And your vision would be to replace that for them, to give them a place where, this problem is no longer there, doesn't exist. And therefore you can then, through perhaps an easy to go first step, overcome their resistance to buy from you. Understand that you need to understand and focus on the dissatisfaction, and then obviously the vision is your product and service that you offer. So we know that people stay where they are. They don't change. And one of the reasons is we have a fear, that fear inside of us of what the future may hold, or of the unknown, or the things we really don't know. And we know that we call fear an acronym for false expectations appearing real. So we worry about the future. We worry about so many things. But when we get there in the future, it actually doesn't happen. Yeah, and we've got these people, they worry all the time. You might have some of your family, you might be one of them yourself. But, to me, the clearer your vision of the future, the easier it is to make sure that you don't fear all these things. So spending time on your business, spending time on where you want to go, can help you overcome that fear. An exercise we did in the United States was, position was advertised, this very same position, same content, for 50,000 Rand or dollars, and one for $250,000 per annum. And the interesting thing is that what you would think is that perhaps more people applied for the 250,000 but that's not the case. 10 times more people applied for the $50,000 position and advert. And the main reason is that people don't believe in themselves. And this brings me to the point that I quite often find when talking to plumbing organizations and plumbers, is that price is always the first thing that we discuss. We need to give discount. How do we change this? Why is it that price is the very first thing that we think of when we want to get into business? Yes, I understand we have to be competitive, and I know that there's price levels in the market, but why do we have to play in price all the time? Because we know if you're going to live by price, you're going to die by price. So price is not the answer. There's a lot of other things you can do to help yourself and to grow your business. Right, so how do we keep growing? And well, we ask ourselves, what do I fear most? And then we go and do it. So yeah, important that, if you have a fear of heights, perhaps it's time that you go out and climb a mountain. Not in an unsafe way, obviously, but if you want to overcome that fear, you need to go towards it. You need to do it. If you have a fear of finances, perhaps it's time you get to know your finances. Perhaps it's time that when you understand them, you will make better business decisions. And wouldn't that be a great place? Right, so another formula is the formula for life success. Here we talk about be times do equals have. Now, one of the things we know is that if what I want to have today, or rather what I have today, depends on what I do and who I am. So if I want more, if I don't like my business, if I don't like my life, I have to do things differently, and I might have to be a different person. Well, how do I do that? Well, to change me, the human being side of things, I need to work on myself. I might attend seminars, I might attend more training, I might go and do a finance course or a marketing course so that I can market my business better and I be a different person. I can also decide to perhaps be a bit different employ different people, but I can work on who I am. Yes, it takes time, and I might have to read a couple of books and watch videos and do those things, but those are the things I can do. And then it's about my actions. Because if I don't take action, I'm not going to have what I want. So I need an action plan. I need to do the right things. Perhaps those are also related to my skill. So if you think of your business today, what you have today in your business is because of what you are doing and who you are as the business leader. So if you have staff in your team that you're not happy with their performance and you wouldn't re-employ them, perhaps it's time to get them off the bus. But you need to be a different person. You need to perhaps be that person that demands, from your staff certain things, and that you want to grow your business and your life, you have to be more demanding on them, not just the nice guy. But understand that what I have today dependent on what I did yesterday and who I am. And if I want to change those, I have to change who I am and the being side of me. I need to work on myself. Sometimes that's my mindset, and that's how I work with it. So thinking of the quality of life really starts from the point of, do I have a mentor or a teacher? And I actually want to just go back and say, let's start at the top. If I don't like the results I have, and I want to change the quality of my business results, I'm going to have to take different actions. And those actions really start with the decisions I make, don't they? If I can make better decisions, I will probably take better actions and I will get better results. Well, how do I make better decisions? I need to ask better questions. Perhaps I need to grow my beliefs and my dreams. I need to have some more knowledge and education. We just spoke about working on the being. And it's also about the quality of my mentorship. Do I have a mentor or a teacher in my camp that I can go to that is going to be open with me and not just the nice guy, but tell me what he sees, tell me what he believes, and how I run my business perhaps will help with feedback from a trusted mentor or guide. Okay, so that's what I really believe is important. So starting with somebody that gives you feedback about you and your business. Acknowledging that you need to know and learn more. You need to educate yourself. The fact that you guys are on this webinar at 7 o'clock in the morning, every Monday morning, well, you're educating yourself. That's great. Yes, you have to do some of that, but make it work for you. Make sure that you grow your beliefs and your dreams and get the right questions because the decisions are based on the actions, or the actions are based on our decisions. And at the end of the day, the quality of our results is the important. Quality of life comes from quality of results. And really just going back to this previous slide, if you know about B times do equals have, if I want better results, I have to do things differently, and I have to be a different person. And these two slides talk about that for you and your business. Your quality of life means also the quality of your business and how that will drive you going forward. So we know the cycle of business is where the owner works with a team. The team will then work with the business's customers and deliver the service that they want and they want to buy from us. The customers will, at the end of the day, grow our business, because more customers we have, more happy customers, more business. And if we have a bigger business and a better business, we, as the owner of the business, that's exactly what we want. So you need to focus as the owner on your team. The team then will have the skill, the knowledge, and you will equip them so that they can look after the customers. And in this way, the circle just becomes a positive circle. However, if your team is dropping the ball, customers might walk away, and that's going to damage your business. So we know that working and on your team is one of the most important things you can do. And what does that look like? Well, here are the 7 keys to a winning team. You need strong leadership. Now that comes from you as the owner. That is you telling them what you want, what you expect, where you're going, what is the dream for your business, and why are you in business? Set the common goals so everybody knows where we're going. So if everybody is focused on where we're going, you're going to create a lot of positive momentum, and everybody has buy-in, and the business will grow. You need to understand and tell them what the rules of the game are. You need to understand the action plan, and you need to build one, because we want to know who does what by when. You need to support the risk-taking in your business. So if you're going to employ people, you're going to train them up, but then you have to put them as a team to go and do some work, and you can't always supervise that. So you need to make sure that the team is capable of doing that, and you're going to have to, as the business owner, take that risk. You need 100% involvement. You want everybody included. Doesn't mean you have to share all your financial information with everybody, but you got to tell them what is it that you expect from them, and they must be part of your team. And lastly, and not the worst or the least, is the recruitment process. So who are you bringing into your business? Not just a family member who is out of work, but bring the right person. Bring the person in that will support you, that has the value sets that you have, and that will help you grow your business. So those are the couple of points that I wanted to highlight, Karim. And I trust that everybody got the most of that.
Bert, I fully support what you're saying there in terms of all too often when we, go and work with business owners, that they're not very clear in terms of that they've got it in their head in terms of what the plan is, but it's like coaching a rugby team. The coach needs to just facilitate that plan, get it down to every person that's in the team, and everybody understands their function, their goal. And I think that's one of the things that I've seen in a lot of businesses where that information is not shared to everybody in there. Even when you ask a plumber, what is your role in the business? And they'll say to do plumbing, but the role is to make money. I mean, that's one of the common sort of misconceptions that people have, that my job is to do plumbing and that's it. But, the actual point of being in that is to actually make money. That's how it comes across, Bert.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And I think we see that so often that people just work there. They work there from 8 to 5. They have no idea what the business is all about, and they don't support it. So you need to create that buy-in.
100%, and I think it's one of those key things that going back to what you have here is being able to learn that. And then I think in my career I've had to have that, to have that mentor, the individual that you can talk to. I've even had friends phone my business, when I had my businesses, and get them to report back in terms of how was the telephone call, because sometimes we very quick to look at opposition, and say how good or bad they are, but we actually don't reflect on our own businesses to try and find ways and to better it. And so one of those for me was just getting a friend to phone in and say, well, how was the experience? Were you did the phone ring twice? You know, did you get to the right department? Did you do these things? And it's just looking in the mirror, taking a real hard look at yourself in terms of, you know, are you all of what you say you are? You know, every advert's out there about how great and everything, but does that process flow? And the ideal guy, or the guy that interacts with your consumer every day, is the guy in the van. You know, most people, you know,
Yes.
from reception to, you know, the team, don't actually interact with the client, and then that's a big sort of challenge, is having that individual be there, looking the part, vehicles clean, because that is just, as we all know, first impressions, you know, last. It can be good or bad, and what is that perception that we're putting out there?
Yes, I so agree with you. I think, you know, what are the touch points where your business, you know, and your consumer or your client, ideal client, touch each other? And I think the first one is that phone call, that they phone you when you have a problem, or that email that you get. But yeah, as you said, the team that goes out and services the customer, that's actually what they see. That's the business that they either happy with or they're not happy with. They get treated well or they don't. And for you, as you know, a plumber building your business, you want referral business. So you better make
100%.
sure that your customers are happy, because referral business at the end of the day is the strongest business you can get.
100%, you know, because like they keep saying, you know, we keep sort of going out there and advertising and looking for more customers, but, you know, we should have a plan in terms of customer retention, you know, and that all goes back to that great service, that experience that you have in terms of that business. It's building relationships, you know, in terms of how you do that. And that's a huge thing to learn, you know, in terms of you know, building that business, and also listening to those that complain. I mean, because again, as we know, and the stats will tell you that, you know, 1 out of 10 will complain, the other 9 just won't bother coming back. So we need to learn from those that complain, and take that as if, you know, and apply the principle of, how do we learn from this? Yes, it's a complaint, but it's good for your business. It just keeps you on your toes. And it's something that I've found is sometimes we don't know how to deal with a complaint. You know, sometimes we get very aggro, we get very whatever. So that's a huge part of business, is sometimes taking that call. You are not sort of expecting it. You know, you've just picked up your phone, you don't have the info, everything else. So it's like, look, I don't have the info. I'll phone you back in the afternoon, and then get back in the afternoon once you've got all the facts and details. But getting into like they say, wrestling with a pig is not the ideal thing. You know, the pig likes it and you both get dirty. So, you know, you just got to make sure that you prepare yourself in terms of how you deal with complaints. What is that? So there's a huge amount in terms of this whole action plan that comes together in terms of what you're talking about today.
Yeah. Look, I fully agree with you, and if people want to really, you know, discuss that with me, more than welcome to contact me, and I'd love to discuss it with you and look at your business, because I think, you know, sometimes you need to just go in and buy from yourself. Phone your office when you're not there. As you said, it's important that you firsthand experience what the runaround your clients get, and if it's not what you want and what you expect, fix it. I think that's just the main thing.
Yeah, and it goes down to all types of things, as we know. You know, how you drive, how you look, you know, how that team is. All too often we'll see this wonderful ad, and it looks like really it's a problem solver. And do we live up to those expectations? And if our teams don't know what our expectations are and what we're doing, then you're on a lost cause, you know, because you're on the N1 and they're all on the N2, you know. So again, it's that communicating with staff, having them involved in the business, and like you say, don't go down to all the nitty gritties about the you know, the finances and everything else, but you know, that business is there, and without it, there is no business. And everybody needs to buy into that sort of role of, we are going to make this business as good as it is, and I'm a big part of it.
Yeah, and I think just on that, I mean, you think about point 3 on the screen, rules of the game. So if you have a team going out in a branded bucky and they're all nicely dressed up and they work well, but they leave the place of work and they drive down the road and they just throw out all the takeaway packaging out of the window, you know, that's just not what you want to see.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.